These are some of the things I wish I would have known going into adulthood, going into my 20s, and they would have really helped me out. The first piece of advice is no one has it all figured out. No one. Not your dad, not your grandma, not the president of the United States. No one has it all figured out. Everyone's kind of just winging it as they go through life. Everyone is experiencing things for the first time on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and they just have to figure it out. And it's okay for you to be figuring it out. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to be a millionaire by the time you're 25. You don't have to have, a spouse and 2 kids by the time you're 30. If that's not what your life has in store for you, that's okay. We are all winging it out here. This is all of our first time at life. So it's okay. The next thing is you can't be successful at a bunch of stuff all the time. And what I mean by that is you can't give 100% to more than one thing. So if you want to be really, really good at your job and a really good spouse and a really good parent and a really good friend and be really good at your hobbies, you're not going to be able to do all of those things really, really well all at the same time. And there will be phases and seasons in your life where sometimes you focus more on work and sometimes you focus more on family and sometimes you're focusing more on your health. Just know that there are world-class bodybuilders and CrossFit athletes out there who are absolutely terrible at finances and they're broke as shit. And then there are super rich people who are really good at managing their money and really good at gathering their assets and managing all of that stuff. They're super wealthy, but their health is in decline because they drink a lot, they do drugs, they don't take care of themselves, they don't exercise and eat right. There are people out there who are really, really good at their job, their profession. They are the world class in their specific job, and they're not good at being a dad or a mom or a parent because they spend so much time focused on their job. So what you're successful at is going to come down to what you pour your time, energy, and attention into, and that can't be everything all at once. And that's okay. There's anyone who tells you that they are doing perfectly at all these different facets of life is lying to you. So for the season that you're in life, figure out what your priorities are and focus your energy, time, and attention on those things, and you'll be more successful for those. The next thing is, in my experience, your plan A is never going to work out 100%. And that's not to say that most of your plan A won't work out. Maybe it'll work out really well, but all the different pieces of it probably not going to happen in the time frame that you want, or the things might not line up perfectly. Be ready for plan A not to go perfectly. But that's why we have plan B, C, and D, right? Always hope for the best, plan for the worst. And that's not to say be negative about stuff. Like, you can have a positive outlook or be hopeful about things, but just understand that there's so many moving parts to just existing in this world that you might have a plan in your head, you might have a timeline in your head of how things are going to work, and it's probably not going to work out perfectly 100% that way. That being said, sometimes you're going to have to do things, specifically, I'm talking about professions, jobs, that you don't love. Not often do people get to start their lives with their dream job. A lot of the time they have to grind at 1, 2, 3 different jobs until they figure out how to get into their dream job, or they just have to pay the bills, whatever it may be. The best piece of advice I can give you when you're working a job that isn't your dream job is just find enjoyment any way you can. Because if you're the one who comes into work every day and you're just complaining about stuff all the time and you're talking about how much you hate your job and how much you can't wait till you go home, you are bringing the morale of everyone around you down, but you're also adding a bunch of stress to your own brain and your own body, which is not going to help you sleep. It's not going to make you enjoy your job one day. You're not just going to wake up. I complain 300 days out of the year and I wake up and I just enjoy my job on that 301st day. It's not how it works. Find things to enjoy. Find the little things, whether it's a person that you work with or it's a part of your job that's really cool and interesting or satisfying. You can even make games out of mundane things in order to make the job a little bit more enjoyable. You make the best of a bad situation, and it's just going to make your life a little bit easier for that season. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I wish I would have gotten in my teens and 20s is almost nothing in this life is black and white. Almost everything has nuance. Almost everything has some sort of gray area. And you have to remember that your perspective, your vision, your view of the world is extremely narrow. You can only experience so much as a single human being. So understanding that not everything is black and white, there's not always just two sides to anything. Approach every situation with a healthy curiosity. Be skeptical. Don't just dive in and believe everything that someone says right away, but ask questions, be curious, do some research. If you approach situations and people with curiosity and an eagerness to understand, rather than placing judgment based on a black and white frame of thinking that you have, you're going to be, one, you're going to be much more likable as a person, and two, you're going to be much easier to work with and get along with just in general. And if you're in a profession or you have a hobby where you require social interaction, that's going to be extremely helpful for you. Be curious instead of judgmental goes a long way. And the last thing that I'm going to mention is when you are making decisions, you're making decisions on a job or how to spend money or how to save money or how to spend your time. Think about how 80 or 90-year-old you in the future would look back on this very moment. I catch myself in this a lot when I'm opening up and I'm gonna like scroll through TikTok or YouTube, and I think, will 80-year-old me be glad that I scrolled through YouTube for 30 minutes instead of going and playing with my kids? And I'm not saying it always works. I do have a lot of regrets around that, but think about that, because we are our past selves to our future selves. So think about how when you are old and your kids are grown and you're sitting on your porch one day, think about how you're going to think back on your life and how you spent your time and your energy and your money and your attention. What did you give attention to? Was it something you would be proud of or something you would regret? I certainly don't have all the life experience, and I certainly don't have things figured out. So I think the comment section would be a really good place for all of us to share our little tips and advice on things that we've picked up in our own lives that will help, especially young, just starting out in life, men or women. So please share what you have. Please share things that will be helpful for those young people starting out their adult lives.